This episode is sponsored by MMS, Missionary Music School, changing lives one note at a time. Go to mmsforeveryone.com. Oh, I like it. No. Hello everyone, my name is Porfirio Gueiros and you're listening to Think and Play. I invited a few of my students, which I call friends, to talk about music. What made that song so special and what made that song different and what that song influenced in their lives. If you like music like me, if you're a music enthusiast, this is the podcast for you. So enjoy, have a seat, and let's think about music. Thank you.
The fallen leaves drift by my window. The autumn leaves of red and gold.
Hello everyone, this is Paul again. Finally, I'm back after a summer of not vacation, because I was recording my mother's stories. So I'm sorry, but it's all in Portuguese. So if you don't understand Portuguese, not for you. But it was a great experience with my mom. My mother is 84 years old, and I wanted to make like chapters of her life. So 8 episodes since, because she was born in 1940, and we started in 1940 up to we started before that, telling her story, her family story, her dad, her mom, family members that she remembered, and then when she was born, the 40s and 50s, what happens during that time, in 50s and 60s, she came to America, she got married in America in 1958, and then 1967 she went back to Brazil in 1962, and so it's the whole story, all details, but I was blessed. I was really blessed because I learned stories that I didn't know that she went through, and after a whole life, like 80 plus years old, the conclusion that she came up with everything said the Bible is right. Seek the kingdom of God first, and everything will be added to you. You're going to go through good stuff, bad stuff in your life. That's the bad things teach us something. The good things are there for us to celebrate. So, but the good things, we don't learn much thing. It's just good. The bad things is when we learn something that God is teaching us. When God sent a divorce, a death, anything that hurts us, it means that God is teaching us a very important lesson. And that experience you're going to use in the future. You might not understand today why you're going through this, but give some time. You see. And then you're going to use that experience to teach others. So I was looking back into my life, how many car accidents I had. So all this stupidity and my own mistakes taught me something. Taught me how to control myself, taught me how to behave on traffic, not racing, taught me how to talk to people or how not to talk to people. And taught me how to listen more than saying things. Or even taught me how to keep quiet and learn and put myself in the other person's experience, whatever. So the person next to me might be going through a rough moment, and I have to understand that. It says, if I were in this position, would I behave the same way? It doesn't matter. You're not here to judge anybody. So this was the the big conclusion that all these 8 episodes that I had with my mother was, first of all, God is in control. Number one, doesn't matter what happens in your life, God is in control. Think about that. Number two, God has a plan. God always have a plan. Even if you make bad choices, good choices, it doesn't matter. God has a plan for you. If you have to restart, it's okay. Restart. Okay? So my mother had to restart her marriage because my dad divorced her. So restart. God is amazing on restarting stuff for us. Giving another chance, giving another opportunity. Hey, next time let's do this better. Learn from your mistake, and next time let's do it better. And you're gonna make other mistakes, or you're gonna repeat the same mistake. So if you repeat, if the mistakes keep coming back to you, there's something there that you need to pay attention. Make sense? Because it's in you. You're making that mistake over and over and over again. So why? Ask yourself, why? Why is this happening again to me? So why I'm having issues with relationships? Because there's something in you that's still not working very well. Think about it. Make sense? So when you get to your 80s, I'm 57 now. Oh, by the way, yesterday I went to buy something at a store, Value Village. And then they said to me, hey, this is a Senior's Day discount. And it's for people over 55. Oh, it's good. I'm 57. And it's, oh, no, come on. You don't look 57. I think they're trained to do that just to make me feel good, okay? And I had to show me your ID. And then I show her my ID. I said, yeah, you're 57 years old. Yes, I am. I said, you don't look a day over 50. That's okay. Okay, thank you. And then and it's still over that. I got 30% discount because Tuesday on Value Village it's Seniors Day discount. So if you're over 55, go to Value Village and then get your discount. All right. So God's put in my heart this summer to talk about Jonah. You know Jonah and the big fish? People say that Jonah and the whale. It's not a whale. It's a big fish. The Bible doesn't say it's a whale. God says it's a big fish. Okay? Let's start from there. And it's funny that God placed in my heart the book of Jonah, and I start reading. It's a very small book, 4 chapters only. You can read in a day or listen in a day. It's only 4 chapters, and then that message of the book of Jonah start like slow cooking in my heart, and then I start. Okay, I'm gonna start researching about Jonah, about what was happening. Why God did this? Why God left this book in the Bible? And is it a true story? Because it's an unmanageable. This cannot happen. So a human being swallowed by a big fish, go to the big fish stomach, and survive, and then get vomit in the beach. And then it doesn't seem real. For me, it's like, no, this is when it starts. Well, of course, I read this book a long time ago, and we know from the Bible stories and the kids' story about Jonah and the whale, blah blah blah, Jonah and the big fish. And then I always thought that these 2 books, the Jonah and Job, there were parables, like stories that Jesus used as an example. The story didn't really truly happen, but it's a story that can be used to teach us something. And then I was looking and listening to a lot of people, a lot of preachers and Bible studies and professors of a lot of people. And then when Jesus mentioned the book of Jonah, and because the resemblance, I think the example was Jonah stayed 3 days in the belly of the big fish. The same way Jesus would stay 3 days dead, or his spirit would preach among the spirits in hell. So Jesus had to preach even to the devil. Anyway, so it's a lot. See what's starting to complicate in my life, in your life? Okay, so I realized that I'm not Jonah, of course, because I'm not Jew, I'm not a prophet, but I am, the people that God sent Jonah to preach, the Ninevites. I am one of those. I am one of the Ninevites. I'm not Jonah. I'm on the Ninevite story. So this, I don't know how many episodes I'm going to stay on the book of Jonah. I don't care. It can be 1, it can be 100, because I want to get the book of Jonah and bring to me right here, right now. So we are in October 2024. So this is fall season. All around me, I can see, the trees becoming yellowish, golden. So it's getting colder. And this is one of my favorite seasons in the whole year. It's fall and winter. These are my favorite seasons. Spring, it's okay, but it rains a lot. And then summer's too, I don't like summer. Too fat for the summer. Okay, so 4 chapters. I'm not sure if I can do in 4 episodes. I'm not sure. I might not, okay? About Jonah and me. Okay? So let's dig into it. So first of all, I'm gonna like try to make a summary of all 4 chapters. Okay? And then we're gonna dive into each chapter 1, 2, 3, and 4. All right? So bear with me and let's have fun together. Okay. So the song I chose for today is by Eric Clapton. Autumn Leaves is one of my favorite songs because it has 2 things. First of all, it's a song that talks about one of my favorite seasons. That's one. And when Eric Clapton does 2 things on this song. He sings, but then he sings with his guitar. So he plays the melody with his guitar. And then he improvises using over the melody. So he adds his own note, his own ideas among the melody. And then he starts getting crazy and start improvising and creating his own melodies. So it's a transition of, the melody with the artist, and then the pure artist. The vision of that pure artist, of that chord progression, of that harmony. So it's beautiful. It's a transformation, just like the autumn leaves, just like the trees. It's a transformation. Becomes green, and start getting yellow and reddish, and then brown, and then they die out. It's a beautiful melody. So I'm going to use autumn leaves as a background and the end of the song. And the book of Jonah, it's also about transformation. So it's about God changing Jonah's heart and changing the whole city called Nineveh. Make sense? It's about transformation. It's about God's love. It's about God using that person, and it's God showing his love, his grace, his forgiveness, because judgment is coming. But you have to preach. You have to say, hey, there's still time for us to be saved. Go back to God, repent, and God will come. God will get to you and say, okay, my son, you're mine. Don't worry. Okay? So, the book of Jonah reveals a lot about God. A lot. Okay? The star of the book of Jonah it's not Jonah. It's not him. It's not the people of Nineveh. It's God. God is how do I say, protagonist, is the main character of this book. Forget about Jonah. Jonah is just an instrument. Forget about Nineveh. Nineveh is just a result of Jonah's being obedient. I'm putting hashtag though. No, he wasn't obedient. Anyway, we'll talk about it. This book was mentioned 2 times by Jesus. Jesus mentioned about when the Ninevites turned back to God. Okay, Jesus also mentioned that Jonah stayed 3 days, 3 nights at the belly of the big fish. That's on Matthew 12, Matthew 12 and Matthew 16. Okay, so a lot of historians say that the book of Jonah was a parable, so a story created to teach a lesson. And many philosophers and historical made fun of Christians and Jews that believed that Jonah was truly existed. So a lot of people that study stories and the Torah say, no, this not, no, and they didn't believe that Jonah, it was a true story. So in Old Greek, stories like historians like Perseus created Hercules, the guy who created the story of Hercules, and on that story of Hercules, there was a sea monster called Andromeda that swallowed Hercules for 3 days. And there's another historian, there's another Greek historian, his name is Porphyrio. See where my name comes from? Yeah. And another historian called Giuliano. They're pagans, they're not Christian, they're not nothing. They're just Greek people who love to study and who love to make fun of Jewish people, religious guy. So they made fun of those stories. So they heard that there was a story on the Hebrew Bible about a guy who was swallowed by the big fish, and he destroyed, and God was supposed to destroy the whole city, and because of this guy. So people say that the story of Hercules, part of the story of Hercules comes from this parable or this story, this history book, like a fake book or fake story of Jonah. So we understand that the miracles that happen on the book of Jonah, they're hard to believe. It's hard. A big fish to swallow a man, and the man survived for 3 days in his stomach and survived to tell the story. This is unprecedented. It's unbelievable. It's unbelievable. And after that, the whole city repent and come back to God by the testimony of this only one man. Okay, see, it's too much. It's too much big news. And then there's a story that in the book of Jonah, it talks about the plant that grows in 24 hours. So Jonah, he's tired, he's mad, he's in, and he always did. And then God opens up, creates a plant out of nothing, gives Jonah some shades for him to rest a little bit under the sun. And then he sleeps, and then in the other day, the plant is gone. And then Jonah got really mad because the poor plant, the little plant, and the plant was more important than the people. What the heck? So these are the things that we're going to talk about a lot, okay? Chapter 2, it sounds like a poem, like a psalm, because it's when Jonah, it's in the fish of the big fish. Oh, sorry, he's in the belly of the big fish. So God is giving 3 days for Jonah to rethink life. Yeah, put Jonah in a how can I say, in the hospital bed, in silence. There's nothing around you. It's just you and God. And then that's chapter 2. Chapter 2, Jonah said, it's beautiful, and we're going to read about it. We're going to read it. But it's a poem. It's like a psalm. It sounds like a psalm. Like, God, you're the creator of heaven and earth, blah, 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 blah. So he has this, and the guy's imagine Jonah in the belly of the big fish, full of water around him and seaweed and all the stuff that like grasping. He cannot breathe very well. Can you think about the smell of inside of that stomach? Should be like crap show. Okay. It's beautiful reading, and these are the reason some people don't take the book of Jonah very serious. But for me personally, there's nothing that is written on this book that make unbelief. It's as facts as truly happen. Yeah, my God is able to make all these miracles to happen, and I truly believe that God is able. Okay. So the main character of this book is God. God has a plan. His plan will not be void or destructed, or because he has his plan for Jonah, he has his plan for you, has his plan for me. And it's funny, God doesn't care. God doesn't care if you have money, if you have health, if you have legs, if you have a car, if you don't have a car. God doesn't care. He is the creator. He will open the door. He'll make his plan work. Make sense? There's nothing we can do to stop God's plan. Nothing. Okay? And Nineveh today, this is interesting. Nineveh today it's Iraqi, as in Portuguese, Iraq. So Jonah was preaching to the Iraqians, the people of Nineveh. Okay, so today we have a lot of Christians, in Iraq because of Jonah, because Nineveh is Iraq today. If God made all things out of nothing, I have no doubt that God is able to create a big fish. He created that. I believe that God created one specific big fish, big enough to swallow a man, because God had a purpose for that big fish. So, for that man, for that specific time. So God had planned that fish, that big fish, for Jonah for that specific time. God can touch and change and do whatever. He can change an entire city or country. And it doesn't need many people. It only needs one man willing to do God's will. God can create a plan for a specific purpose to showcase himself. Yes, God can do that for you and me. People that cannot believe in the miracles of the book of Jonah has no problems with Jonah. They have a problem with God. So, the problem is not Jonah. It's not the big fish. It's not the plant. It's not Nineveh. It's my relationship with God. Do I believe that God can move mountains? Aha, he can. Oh yeah, he can. How many times God moved mountains in front of you? And then it gets to a point that you have no hope. You have nothing else to do. And the first thing we do is say, Jesus, help me. God, help me. So that's the first thing we do when we are in the big fish belly. When there's no more hope, there's nowhere to go. When disease or cancer or something strikes, and say, God, I have no hope. You're my only hope. Do whatever you want. Do whatever you can. And I'm here. You're gonna send the best doctors. I'm here. You're gonna send, the miracle. I'm here. I'm just waiting for your miracle. And believe me with something. If God doesn't say no to your request, God has a purpose for that. Makes sense? But God always wants to show up and say, hey, son, I love you. I love you. I love you so much that I want you to be near me forever. Okay? Or I'll send you a rescue. I'll send you the miracle. I'll send you. So everything turns out to be good, for those who trust in the Lord. Everything. Everything. The first thing we learn from the book of Jonah is that God is the creator. God is the creator. God is in control. Yes, God is in control. God can do whatever He wants to do to show His power, to show His grace, and to show His love for us. So that's the main story, the main principle behind the book of Jonah. If we believe that God can, we have no problem believing that miracles that Jesus did in the New Testament are also miracles God did in the Old Testament. So if we believe that Jesus walked on the sea, if we believe that God resurrected Lazarus from the dead, if He healed the blind man, the crippled man, whoever, the sick girl. So if we believe that Jesus could do those things that we can't, we can believe in the book of Jonah. So the book of Jonah is believable. But if you don't believe in that, I'm sorry, it's okay. It's just a parable. Just read as Hercules. What's the difference between a man surviving inside of a big fish for 3 days and a man walking on water? What's the difference? It's defining the laws of the regular laws of nature. God, Jesus, can go against the law of nature, because gravity, we cannot walk on water, but Jesus can. And Peter always could also too, because he looked at Jesus and he believed in Jesus and said, hey Jesus, if you can do it, I can do it too. But then his faith dropped down a little bit. Okay. Can a man be resurrected from the dead? Can a man open the sea, bread from falling from heaven for 40 years? So the Jewish people knew that God could do whatever He wants. This was not a big deal for the Jewish community. A man can heal from blindness. If the God of the Bible is real, what's the problem of believing on the miracles on the book of Jonah? Yeah? So that's the main thing. You have to believe in God, that God can. You have to believe that God is able. God is the God of miracles. And He comes down to our level to teach us a lesson. And what's the lesson? Trust in God. Believe in God. Trust Him that He has a plan for you. What about Jonah? So this will be the next chapter. What time is it? Yeah, I'm going to try to put it into 30 minutes. So let's talk about Jonah on the next episode. Okay? So, to finish up, autumn leaves. Believe in the transformation. Believe in the seasons that you are at right now. It can be a very nice season. Everybody's healthy. It can be not a very nice season. You're sick. You're in a hospital bed, or your son, your daughter is a little sick. Believe that God has a plan. Believe that God, it's a God of miracles. God's the creator of heaven and earth. He's the creator of everything. So we just need to trust in God. Trust God that God has a plan. Trust God that this season, it's created for you for a specific reason. Make sense? Good? All right. Let's play with Autumn Leaves. Eric Clapton. See you next time, people. Love you all. Bye.
The fallen leaves drift by my window. The autumn leaves of red and gold. I see your lips kisses, the sunburned hands I used to hold. Since you went away, the days grow long, and soon I'll hear a winter song. But I miss you most of all, my darling. When autumn leaves start to fall, since you went away, the days grow long, and soon I'll hear a winter song. But I miss you most of all, my darling. When autumn leaves start to fall, yes, I miss you most of all, my darling. When autumn leaves start to fall.
Thank you everyone for listening to They Can Play Music. This is a special series called Jonah Me. I hope you enjoy it, and I'll see you next time. Thank you. Blessings. Bye.